Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to ramble. Let's talk about, what are you wearing, son? This is a Citizen Grand Touring. I took this, I wore this while I took my daughter to a piano recital. My 7-year-old daughter, Julia, is playing the piano, so I'm wearing a Citizen Grand Touring. And I want to talk about a ramble of things. Specifically, I want to get to a particular watch topic called just one more watch syndrome. You know what I'm talking about. You say, I just need this one more watch and then I'm done. My collection is complete. And you think you're fine. You get that watch and you're going, I am chilling, ladies and gentlemen. I got my dream watch. And then few weeks pass, and as happened to me today, and damn it, there was a dude on TV, an old guy, 70 years old, James Clapper, former National Defense Intelligence, something like that. I'm watching Meet the Press. Can you imagine? I don't watch sports anymore. I'm watching Meet the Press because I don't know how many of you are from America. But like my country, we're having a huge identity crisis right now. The political scene is crazy. So I don't even watch sports anymore. I mean, the new sport, if you will, is politics. And I don't even talk about politics on this channel because I don't like to divide people. I like people to get along. And like I got a neighbor who does national defense. His politics are different than mine. We get along. We have a lot of common ground. I have a buddy who's a Navy SEAL. His politics are different than mine. We get along. But I don't talk a lot about politics here. I will say that our country's having a huge identity crisis. Before I tell you what I saw on television that gave me another watch problem. You know, in about 20 years or so, the minority of this country will be the majority. And that's creating a huge identity crisis. Some people want America to go back in time, you know, be this monolithic nationalist culture, and it's my belief that we can't. We have to go forward. I grew up in a cosmopolitan, diverse environment. You know, my parents came from, my mom's family came here from Poland. It came through Brooklyn. And then my father's family, they were indentured servants from Great Britain, and they came to Canada, to America. So, you know, immigrants are part of what make America what it is. I grew up in San Jose, California. I had a lot of, my neighbors were from Mexico, and I grew up with a lot of Mexican culture, and I'm very grateful for that. And I don't want to see my country become anti-immigrant, anti-diversity. I want my country to be cosmopolitan. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not a political guy. I like to bring people together. I don't like to divide people. So let's talk about watches. What are you wearing? I already showed them what I was wearing, McMahon. Oh, sorry about that. So in this crazy political climate, had to get that off my chest. Please, let's not even talk about politics. So I'm watching Meet the Press. That's not political. And James Clapper, I don't know how old he is, 70, 75, I don't know, he's an old dude. He was rocking an amazing watch. I don't know what it was, but it looked like it was 50 millimeters. Now, maybe he's smaller than I am, maybe it was 47. Whatever he was wearing, it was huge. And you know, it's weird when you're a watch addict, as I am, because you have this thing that I was talking about earlier, just one more watch syndrome. And I'm looking at that watch and I'm thinking, you know what? I need a new watch. Because like whatever that guy's wearing, I need to be part of that energy. I need to be part of that vibe. And I don't have that vibe with my current watch collection. I'm incomplete. What an emotional, needy person. One of you commented on my last video. You said something very wise, very insightful. You said, McMahon, your overeating and your watch buying are connected. He didn't say explicitly, but I inferred that he's really talking about emotional neediness. We can be so needy as watch obsessives. And I reject people who call watch obsessives egotistical people who buy watches to spread the biggest peacock feathers in the room, or to just have these prestigious displays of power jewelry. I really think that watch obsessives have a certain type of Asperger's where we can stare at our own watch for a long time and just keep looking down at it. And I do think it's a condition that we have. And so now I think I want to get an orange dial watch. Because, like, I don't know, I want an orange dial watch all of a sudden. And then I'll be complete. It's just this one last watch that I'll get. And then my nightmare of watch discontent will be over. So a week ago, Carlos, he bought my Seiko MM300. I think he can relate to this, you know. I make a video of my Seiko MM300. I say, the proportions aren't working for me, I'm going to sell it. Within minutes, Carlos, who lives in Southern California like I do, he says, I want that watch. I'm going to buy it. And sure enough, man, he took an hour off of work that evening. And he's texting me as he's driving to my house. He goes, I'm 40 minutes away. 30 minutes. I got GPS. 10 minutes away. I'm in front of your house. That dude wanted that watch, man. He really wanted that watch. And he texted me after it with pictures of it, and he was enjoying it. He was a one-watch man. He had found the watch. Watch Uber Alles. Watch Holy Grail. So guess what? A day later, he texts me. I just sold some watches on eBay, and I got this hunger for the Seiko Shogun. Man, I bought a Shogun. And he even asked if I would review it for him, and I said I would. He may or may not send the watch to me. Either way's fine. And but his passion was such that it was just one more watch. And I can feel it, man. I'm very happy with my collection. This is a nice watch with a dome sapphire on it. And I saw James Clapper. Here I am watching a political show in the midst of my country's greatest, probably political crisis. You know, my country's divided. I think it's going to probably our division will get worse before it gets better. I wish this country could look at me and my Navy SEAL friend, my national defense neighbor, and listen to us hash it out, because we get along. But man, the anger in my country between one another, it scares the hell out of me. So watches are our little escape. Speaking of escape, Bruce Williams is a gentleman that I've had good communications with over the last year or so. He has a watch channel, and he had a terrible mishap that I'm going to assume many of you know about, where he sold a lot of his Grail watches, you know, a Grand Seiko and some other things, and he got a $5,000 used Rolex. And then the guy wanted his Rolex back, and Bruce put the box with the Rolex on top of his car, and he drove off. You know, he seatbelted his daughter, and you know, he realized he left the watch on the box after he drove off, and he had to go back and find it. It had fallen out of the car. It was destroyed, and he was distraught. He put a video up about the whole thing. It was epic. His emotions were raw. And I contacted him about it, and I gave him my moral support, and he thanked me. And I noticed today that the video is down. Even the review of that watch is down, and I cannot imagine what's going through his mind. I wanted to say something about the whole episode. I think we're all different. For me, I don't know if you know this about me, but I've been looking at watch obsessives, myself included, as characters for a movie. There needs to be a movie about us. And what happened to poor Bruce has to be in the movie. That is an epic scene in a movie. That's larger than life. And I know he took the video down, and maybe that was a good thing. Maybe you don't want to be seen in such a raw state of mind. Last I checked, it had over 15,000 hits in about a day or two. So clearly, I mean, can you imagine? And I think we can all feel the pain of it. And so some might ask, how could something like that happen? And I have a theory. This is just a speculation on my part. I can only imagine that forgetting that there's a box with a Rolex on top of your car, that forgetfulness has to come from stress. Because when you sell off all your watches to buy a Grail, you're nervous. That's a lot of stress. And I just think in that state of stress, something happens to your short-term memory. And for something like that to happen, and for watch obsessives throughout the whole world to see something like that, it really, it's a gawking, cringing moment. And he gave me some promising words that there were a lot of people who were supportive. I sent him a small PayPal gift just to show my moral support. I think he has over 5,000 subscribers, so I guess if everyone gave him $1, he'd have his money back. But something like that is deeper than money. It's an existential wound, and it goes back to probably speaks to my overeating and my just one more watch syndrome. I just think that when you have something like that happen to you, it's so psychologically devastating that you can't even put money on it. At one point in that video that he took down, he said he's done with watches, he's done with his YouTube channel, and I can completely identify with that. Being a watch obsessive, we're susceptible to high highs and low lows. We kind of put ourselves in a vulnerable situation sometimes, emotionally and financially. And I don't think people have figured out why we are the way we are. I do think it has a little bit of Asperger angle to it. That's my personal theory. And I do think there's an emotional neediness to it. But he took the video down. I hope he's going to be all right.